What is up, everyone? It's Austin, and we are back with another episode of my $10 PlayStation Collection series. We've been going strong each and every week, going to thrift stores, pawn shops, game stores, looking for items that we can flip, and then we're using that flipped profit to purchase and build a giant PlayStation collection. For this week, wanted to talk to you guys about something a little different from video games. And my question to you all is, what are some of your favorite TV shows that you guys have actually been watching recently? I feel like for the past year, there really hasn't been too much in terms of movies and TV shows, but I have been watching some shows. After wrapping up with the Stranger Things series, I really enjoyed that one, but the directors actually did create another TV show with a similar theme. And the show is called The Burrows, which actually follows a more elderly cast in this retirement city. And there's just a lot of weird things happening in this city. Some monsters and a nice adventure that you get to follow along. It wasn't the greatest show, but I still enjoyed my time watching it because it did follow some of the same elements as Stranger Things. And then the other show that I'm actually currently watching right now is House of Dragons. And this season 3 really shocked me. I think the first 2 seasons I just really wasn't that big of a fan of. Nothing really drew me in, and it just wasn't, I guess, as good or as on par as Game of Thrones. And looking back at it now, it seemed to be just a lot more world building, which is totally fine because now it's set up for this amazing season 3 right off the jump with episode 1. There's a lot of action in there, and there are a lot of elements that remind me of some of the prime moments of Game of Thrones. I don't want to spoil too much, but I've really been enjoying Rhaenyra and her story in King's Landing, the actions that she's taken. Also feels like there are multiple sides to this show now, and they're all clashing. Definitely check out season 3 if you guys haven't yet. It's for sure some must-watch TV. I also did watch A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which is more of like a spin-off and more of a comedy-driven show. Definitely a much lighter take on the whole Game of Thrones universe. But again, what are some of the TV shows that you guys are currently watching or just recently watched and really enjoyed for this year? We're back at the game showcase with a huge update. I just sold this Game Boy Pocket down here. It's kind of like a special edition. I think it's like a Toys R Us exclusive or something. But yeah, really nice colorway. It's the clear green or yellow colorway. And we sold this one for $135. Picked it up for pretty cheap at a thrift store. We just got a quick sale. We finally sold this Guitar Hero Live with a dongle inside. We sold this for $58 and picked it up for about $10 at a pawn shop. So yeah, really nice find and flip. Let's go ahead and get this packaged and shipped. After eBay fees and shipping, this is how much we'll get to add back to the game fund. For this week, we're going to be checking out a bunch of GameStop stores. They're currently having a 4 for $40 deal. So if we can grab 4 games for under $20, we can get each of them for $10 a piece. Starting off at a pretty cool GameStop location inside of Mall of America. This is kind of combined with like a pop, toys, and figures shop. So it's a lot bigger. Here in the PlayStation 4 section first though, we're going to be looking for some games under $20 again. Just going to be scanning through, and we got this Daymare game, which I had never seen. It actually did have a decent selection of PS4 games. I'm not sure how many people are actually bringing games into a mall and trading games in at a GameStop here. But over here I found a copy of Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, and this was a Steelbook edition, so this was an easy grab for me at $19.99. Other than that, I don't think I saw too much here. Now we're in the Xbox One section, and there were a couple of games that stood out. Gonna be scanning through and saw this Digimon Survive along with Dirt Rally. And then we got Divinity Original Sin Definitive Edition, and I debated on this one. This one values for around like 25-ish, but I think ultimately I did pass on it. The retro section really wasn't that big though, unfortunately. They had a lot of like loose discs as well. But I did find
this Way of Samurai 3 on Xbox 360. Never saw the game before. In the PlayStation section, there really wasn't too much. I did find one game that interested me, and it was this Capcom Classics Collection Volume 2, which I'm not sure how authentic these games are, but at $19.99, was interested in it and decided to grab it.
Okay, there you go.
Made my way back to the PS4 section and decided to grab this Mega Man Legacy Collection. This one does hold a little bit of value too, and I just don't have this in my personal collection, so $19.99. We are going to be coming away with these 4 games right here. Decided to grab this Resident Evil, mainly to flip. We are at our next GameStop store, and again, going to be looking for games for this sale. In the Xbox One section, got a couple of Assassin's Creed games along with this Attack on Titan for $19.99. Xbox games tend to be a little more cheaper, that's what I'm noticing. One thing I noticed here was they had a lot of Resident Evil games, and for some reason on the Xbox, these tend to hold a bit more value. So after scanning through some of these, there was one that I was interested in. And it's going to be this Resident Evil Village Deluxe Edition, kind of a more uncommon version. Not sure what the differences are, but I did decide to grab it. Now we're in the PS4 section looking for games to add to our collection. And there were a decent amount of games here as well. We got Astrobot Rescue Mission. And then we got a copy of Frostpunk right here, which is actually one of my favorite games. I always wanted to own a physical copy of this, so I think this is a no-brainer to pick up. I didn't see much else here, so we're going to move on to the PlayStation 5 section. They actually have a decent amount of games at under $20, but very uncommon ones. I was mainly looking for games that I've never seen before. We got a copy of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which is one that I'm still waiting to check out. Played the first one quite a bit. And then we got a really strange game, this Grey Hill Incident, some kind of alien mystery, more of a story-driven game. I did actually decide to grab this one. Taking a look in the retro section now, and we got some Genesis games in the box up here, along with a bunch of PlayStation Vita games. I did scan through some of this to see if I could find any for the deal. You got Walking Dead Season 2, this Tsukaiden game, which is only $9.99 surprisingly. And then we got Ragnarok Odyssey A, which I did actually pick up. I don't have this version of the game on the Vita. Got some Lego games here as well. Moving on to the PS3 section, and they had a small selection of games here. You got Brutal Legends for $19.99 as well. One of my favorites. Got Jack Black in there. A nice little strategy game. Here at the Game Showcase, it looks like we just made another quick sale, and it's going to be this copy of Madden 11 for $16.50. We picked it up for around $3 at a pawn shop. We got a couple of nice sales. First one's going to be this Wii Sports, complete in the box. Nice little case right here, and this one sold for $36. Really nice. And then the second item we sold is going to be right here, this Super Smash Bros. Ultimate sealed. We sold this one for $48. Still a pretty high price for this game, and I still spend some time playing it every now and then. Let's go ahead and get these two packaged and shipped. After eBay fees and shipping, this is how much we'll get to add back to the game fund. We made our way to a Pawn America store this week, and they're currently giving out $15 in rewards this week, so we're gonna be using that for sure. Got a copy of Turok Evolution. I played this game a ton, one of my favorite first-person shooters. It's got dinosaurs in there as well. Just gonna be scanning through the PlayStation sections, NBA Street right here. We'll be getting a great deal on these with the $15 off. Found this Die Hard trilogy for $8 on the PS1. We'll go ahead and grab that as well. Unfortunately, I couldn't really find any games for my whiteboard, but we're still just gonna be looking for deals or interesting titles. These stores surprisingly do have a good amount of video games in the Wii section, and I found a copy of Mario Party 8 for $30, which isn't too bad. Got a couple of GameCube games as well. Let's take a peek in the PS4 and PS5 section next. I found this Loaded game on the PS1. I had never seen this one before. But just gonna be looking for some lower end titles. I did find Kakarot along with Bendy and the Ink Machine for $10. I feel like this is a steal. And then over here on this top shelf, we got a copy of Sonic Frontiers, which is one that I've always wanted to check out. The graphic in the game looks beautiful. I've just heard some bad things and reviews about this one, but for $10, can't really pass on that. And then lastly, we're checking out the PlayStation 2 section. There were some interesting titles down here, like this Gungrave for $46, one that I do see often. And we got Frogger, the Great Quest, some kind of charming little game. It was in excellent condition as well, so I did decide to pick this one up. We are now here at our last GameStop store, and starting off in the Nintendo Switch section, I actually found a decent amount of games under $20 here. They had a nice selection for sure, some obscure titles, and there were actually a couple that I was debating on picking up. I found a copy of Darkest Dungeon for $20. This would be a fun one to play in handheld mode. And then we also got a copy of Digimon Survive, which I actually did pick up. Always wanted to check this one out. I heard it's more of a tactical turn-based, so kind of hesitant to start it. And then we got Diablo as well. Scanning around some more. Got a copy of My Hero 2. And then we got Monster Hunter Stories 2, which I actually did end up grabbing. Taking a look in the retro section, and there really wasn't much for PlayStation, but Xbox Original had some nice titles like SSX 3 and this Raw 2. Found this Green Day Rock Band. And then we got Magna Carta 2, which is still a decently priced game. They had a little glass case up front which held some of the higher end PS Vita and PSP games, and I actually did decide to pick some up. The first game was this 300 game down here on the bottom left. They had it for $20, and I just don't see it too often, along with this Neverland Card Battles game.
We made our way back to the game room, and that wraps up the game hunting for this week. Let's take some time now to go over all our pickups. Starting off at the first two GameStops, we came away with 8 games for their deals, and we got Resident Evil 3 on the Xbox One. Just picked it up because it does hold some value. Then we got some PlayStation 4 games. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. This is a Steelbook edition. Awesome to be able to get this for around 10 bucks. I haven't really played this game too much. I only played a bit of Marvel vs. Capcom 3. This game released after that and was really hyped up and had big expectations and didn't really live up to it at release. But still an excellent game. You were no longer able to pick 3 characters. You only got 2 characters plus an Infinity Stone, and that kind of added a new element to the game. Next, I got a copy of Mega Man Zero Legacy Collection, and this is just a nice little bundle of the classic games. You got Mega Man 1, 2, 3, 4, ZX, and ZX Adventure. Then we got a PlayStation 2 game, this Capcom Classic Collection Volume 2. Got a couple of Capcom collections, and this has a strange assortment of games. Some that I've never heard before, like Avengers, Black Tiger, Block, Captain Commando, so probably from the 80s and 90s, and then a couple of Street Fighter games as well. We also got another Resident Evil game, this Resident Evil Village Deluxe Edition. Again, just holds some value. We got one PlayStation Vita game, this Ragnarok Odyssey Ace. I've got a ton of Vita games, so it's gonna be a little harder to find some that I don't have. But this is more of like a Monster Hunter clone, third-person hack and slasher. There's a lot of fetch quests and going out and defeating bosses, getting materials. One of the more obscure games we picked up is this Grey Hill Incident, and apparently this is not a good game at all, kind of a gimmicky. It's a first-person stealth game. It's got some pretty bad gameplay, and story and voice acting aren't that great. Cool theme though. I'm actually a big fan of alien invasion and sci-fi movies and things like that, so probably not gonna check this one out though. And then we just got a copy of Frostpunk Console Edition. This is actually one of my favorite games of all time. I remember it was a random snowy day when I decided to give this game a shot, and after playing it for like an hour, I was absolutely hooked and could not stop playing this one. It's a survival city builder game, making sure you have resources and electricity to power up. It's also a big political game where you gotta make sure survivors are all happy. We did make a stop at a Pawn America store and got to use a $15 rewards card. We got a copy of Die Hard Trilogy. Do not know much about this. I would believe it follows the events in the movies. Got a copy of Sonic Frontiers on the PS5. Again, game looks beautiful. We'll definitely give this one a shot. We got a copy of Frogger, The Great Quest. This one just looks like a third-person platformer of some kind. Lastly, we got Turok Evolution, and really glad to be able to add this one to the collection. I have not tried this game on the PS2, but I did play it a ton on the original Xbox. For our last GameStop visit, we picked up 2 PlayStation portable games and 2 Switch games. We got Digimon Survive. Really happy to add this one to my Switch collection. Along with this Monster Hunter Stories. I haven't played much of Monster Hunter games. We picked up 300, The March to Glory on PSP. This, I believe, would just follow the events of the movies, but it's a third-person hack and slasher style game. And what's awesome about these are the fact that it comes with manuals, and these manuals are actually pretty thick. So definitely a very nostalgic era for sure, and it's got the game. And then we got Neverland Card Battles, which is one that I've never seen before. It's not actually like a card game, it's more of a board game with cards included. But the graphics look decent to be playing on a PSP, and it is more of like a tactical turn-based combat game. And that right there wraps up another week of game hunting. Didn't really find anything too crazy, but some weeks are just gonna be like this. That's all I got though. Thank you guys all for tuning in as always, and I'll see you all on the next one.